Greetings OCI family and colleagues and friends who are joining this presentation. My name is Melusi Ndhlalambi. I'm from MelVee Broadcasting Network, based right here in Pretoria. It's unfortunate I couldn't join you today because I couldn't make it. Funding is a challenge, and so I couldn't make it to the convention. But technology, as it is, has carried me into your presence. And so I'm delighted, and thanks to the OCI international team that's visiting Africa, welcome to the motherland. And also special thanks to my brother and my elder, Brian Hall, for facilitating this opportunity for me. I will not spend a lot of your time. I want to get straight into the presentation that I would have done with you today. And I see this is a very powerful meeting where we are talking about digital evangelism and media ministry. That's the topic I would like to focus on. And I just also want to pass my special greetings to Craig Harding, whom I had a privilege to meet in one of my last visits to Zambia. Beautiful place you have at Riverside Farm Institute. I'm so disappointed I couldn't make it to this meeting. But that as it may, allow me to talk about this topic, which is very dear and close to my heart. I believe it is my calling, and I believe that God has called me from where I was, making my tents to this ministry. And I want to ask, and as I open this meeting, say this very powerful opening statement. I want to ask, what if in this current world where we are living in, what if the greatest pulpit is no longer in a building? What if a smartphone in the hands of a young person in Lusaka, Johannesburg, or Nairobi, or in Lagos, in London, Accra, or in New York? Today, I believe that the unreached are no longer only in remote villages. The unreached people are actually sitting online. They are scrolling on devices. They are searching on search engines online. They are hurting. The same way someone who sits next door to you, whom you can see physically, is hurting, and they are asking heaven. They are asking for answers. And so heaven is asking today, who will speak for us? Who will speak to them? I'm on Isaiah chapter 6 already, and I'm asking, could it be that the pulpit is now that device in a young person's hand? The digital world is the new mission field. That's the argument I want to make this morning. And I want you to pause and reflect on what that means. The mission field is now digital. The nations are connected virtually. The gospel must move at the speed of communication, which is the speed of light. And God is shortening time because of the internet. So what is God saying to you today? God is saying we must reach the unreached in one accord. We must collaborate. We must work together. One faith, one mission, one gospel, one digital voice. God is saying to you and me today, we must continue with one accord in prayer and in supplication, as Acts 1:14 says. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all in that one accord in one place. So just as the early church moved in unity and in one accord, we are also called today to unite our digital voices for the gospel to reach the world and across all nations. And so I believe today that we can do it in one accord. And I believe this is what OCI is seeking to do. Bring together all the different ministries, coordinate the effort, and ensure that though we may not be meeting digitally, you may be listening to me and you've never met me, but you are listening to me right now. And we are in one place, and we can agree from today how we can make a difference in the world. And this includes our spirituality, this includes our digital investments, this includes our global family. We are just one click away to reach the unreached. And so I believe we can make an impact together as we move the gospel mission forward and hastening the coming of Jesus and our being gathered at home. And so the question might be, why media matters right now? Media is one of the many communication channels used. It is not the only one, but it is one of the many. So media is that channel that is used to communicate information, ideas, stories, truth, and can be used to influence people. And media, as you would know, comes in different forms. There is print media. Ellen White writes about this. The press must be used. But I believe if she woke up today, she will also be talking about radio. She will be talking about television. She will be talking about videos, the internet, social media, live streaming, podcasts, mobile communication. She will also update her writings. When she said the press must be used, she might actually say, the digital media and the press must be used. So I believe through these platforms, we have an opportunity to reach an unprecedented number of people across the world, and we can make an impact for Jesus. And any of these platforms are available to us as Christians to use. And so I call upon you at this stage, if your ministry does not have a component of media, you are shooting yourself in the foot and you're shooting low. You are missing a big opportunity, particularly of internet and social media, because this is a digital platform which is often unprecedented. And it is one that can give us a huge impact if we are to tap into the internet right now, because the internet does not sleep. And the internet is not limited by space, time, and matter. It's available across the board. And so when we use social media, our podcast, we do live streaming, we're connecting believers instantly across continents. That's what we're doing. And we are making discipleship accessible to all at any point in time. And so I believe social media is the new mission field. There are over 6 billion souls that are connected online right now. 6 billion people are using the internet globally. So the internet is the world's largest communication network. It is connecting billions of people instantly. At the click of a button, you go live. You have the potential to reach 6 billion people. The internet, I believe, has turned the world into one connected village. And so this is powerful for ministry. The fact that right now 73.2% of the world's population is online. This is according to the report by We Are Social. Check it online. We Are Social. They give you statistics of how human beings are consuming and interacting with this technology, even to your country level. They will tell you these details. So I believe we are living in a time when the Great Commission can find powerful expression over the optic fiber internet, and that wireless signals can reach the unreached. I am sold to this, and I believe our OCI family is sold to this. It's a no-brainer for us. We must be online, and we must make a case for the ministry online. And so it is the new field. This is the new field where social media today is the public square where the gospel can meet with the world. It's the gateway to the world. And through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all these platforms, they have billions of people who are gathering there and are ready to share the gospel. I would not even talk about TikTok. It's ticking, it's talking. WhatsApp, whether it's X, every scroll that is happening on those platforms is actually an opportunity for the gospel to be heard. So let's go in there and dilute this wickedness that's gathering in these platforms and use social media as a digital ecosystems where people can interact, they can share, they can learn, they can watch, they can respond, and we can influence that space in real time by using any of these platforms. So I believe social media is the modern public square. That's where people meet. And let's be there with the gospel and make sure we reach them for Jesus. And so I don't think I need to make a case for why ministry must go digital. I think this is a no-brainer for most of us. When you look at the numbers I have on the screen, they are not lying. These numbers are telling a story that cannot be ignored in our time. The latest highlights from that report I mentioned, We Are Social. When you go to their data portal, it says 5.66 billion social media users globally access the internet. 5.6 billion. And almost 69% of the world's population is actually online using digital platforms. The crowd is online. So ministry must follow the crowds and be online. I always say the fish have moved. If we are fishers of men, they are no longer in small little ponds at our churches. They no longer come to our churches. The fish has moved. They are now in social media platforms. If you want to catch men, you've got to make sure your nets are laid on the social media. And that's where you're going to catch them. So create engaging content, create quality content, and be consistent, because the river of social media doesn't stop flowing because you're sleeping. It flows 24/7. So I believe that when you look at these numbers, they will show you that more than 2 in 3 people use social media. That's 2/3 of the world. And social platforms continue to grow rapidly. What that means is that we have an online platform where ministry can go where the people are. And we can't miss that opportunity in this day and this age. We have to take advantage. And Africa is teeming. Africa is a melting pot for online ministries to tap into. And let me maybe talk about why Africa matters. Because we are leading the next digital gospel explosion. Our population dividends, the age of our population, we have the youngest age in the world and the largest as well. And it's growing into the marketplace. And these young people are accessing digital information at a very young age. So Africa's mobile first population represents an unprecedented opportunity for digital ministry. We have over 500 million users and the world's youngest population, like I said. So this is a no-brainer for ministry if we are to go global. And that's why MelVee is in that space. And we are coming in as the divine voice out of Africa. And we are saying we have to prime the gospel and prime the continent to engage with the gospel through transformation that the technology allows us to. They don't have to come to my local church. I can put the gospel online, and right in the comforts of their home, they can be watching it. So we can arrive in millions of homes without even departing from our address. I'm speaking to you right now from the comfort of my house. Though I would have wanted to be with you right now, but I'm here. And I thank God that this technology is affording us in Africa to be the leading continent for the next wave of digital gospel expansion. I believe it. And I think we should tap into the young population and reap the dividend of reaching them young and training them while they are young to engage with the gospel online. So the African youth, I believe they are young and they are embracing this technology. They call us the 1Ks because we were born in the 19-somethings. They are the 2Ks. They cannot live without this technology. And I believe it is the flood that the dragon has cast out to drown the church. So if we don't intervene, if heaven does not help us, this flood of technology will drown our young people, and they will not harvest the readiness that they need to receive and share the gospel across the borders. And so I call upon us as a people, wherever we are, to share and to talk about this, because it is the time for us to do it for the Lord. Maybe let me at this stage share with you my journey into this space. It's been a long, protracted journey. It began in 2010 with a retrenchment from my work as a deputy country director in one of the development agencies here in South Africa. And I went home after a successful 5.5 years of growing this business to a point where they became one of the strongest and leading public health institutions in South Africa. I'm talking about an organization called AMREF, the Africa Medical and Research Foundation. So I joined them from the UK, and I was excited, I was thrilled, I was happy to be participating in this public health institution, and life couldn't be better. And I enjoyed my career during that time. And in fact, the country, I always see that period as my Joseph moment, where I was in Egypt and I was helping this company to grow and succeed at a time when others were finding it difficult because of the challenges that were there in the public health space. But at 2008, when the economic crunch happened, we lost a lot of our funding, and that's how I was retrenched. So out of the retrenchment, God knocked me off my feet and caused me to pause and reflect, where am I going and what am I doing? Lord, what is it you want me to see? And at that moment, without wasting a lot of your time, God made it clear to me through two events. I had lost a pastor some years ago, 2002 and 3 there, about Pastor Michael Chigogora. And I went online on my BlackBerry on YouTube. It was still new, and I'm looking for this speaker online. Can I find some information about him? There was nothing. I moaned him for the second time to say, how could he go with everything he had? You know how we say in Africa, when you burn, when someone dies, it's like burning a library, or you lose the whole library of information because of our oral traditions. That's what I felt. But fast forward later on to one of your luminaries in Zambia, Dr. Cornelius Matandiko. I had just met him in Pretoria when he came for the SID workers meeting. He had preached a powerful sermon. He had represented the Zambia Union. I can't remember if it was the union that time. And shortly after that, I heard that he has rested. And again, I went online to look for his content, and there was nothing. And my heart again sank to the lowest level, and I said, I have to do something about this. And that's how God showed me the need to take an African voice and put it online. And that's when God showed me Revelation chapter 14, verse 18. I don't know if you have it. Please write it down and read it later. That's where this mission was based on, because it simply says, and I heard a voice from heaven, and it said, blessed are those who die henceforth, says the Spirit, for they rest, but their works do follow them. And I was like, the dead know nothing. They cannot have works. And at that moment, God lit up a light in me, and I realized, when you record this person, even when they are gone, their videos will continue preaching. And that's how I got the light into my head, and I said, yes, Lord, I'm going to do mission work using the digital platforms. I'm going to do internet broadcasting. But at that time, we didn't even have optic fiber. We had lines that were very slow. There was no digital internet. The internet was there, but the speeds were very miserable, and you couldn't even upload. I did not even have fast internet. I think at that time my speed was 5 megabytes, which is really very slow. And therefore, all I can say to you today is, when I look back and I reflect on what God has done, I understand that God was taking me on a journey on a mission for the master to produce seeds for the kingdom, and this thing is bigger than me. And fast forward, I've moved my life. I've joined Johns Hopkins. I've left as a chief of party for their clinical program in South Africa. I'm now with the World Bank from 2015. Life is good. I'm going back to my old ways. I'm working, I'm growing, I'm having an influence. Now I'm overseeing a World Bank program in Southern Africa on TB and HIV. And it is at that moment that the wheels of my life came off. And I said to God, I think I hear what you're saying. You are saying go back home and work on this ministry because it's bigger than me. So 2019, I'm at home. I'm working 2019 and building capacity for MelVee. I am just driven. I'm buying equipment, live streaming. I'm buying all the gadgets I need. I'm increasing the number of our cameras. And 2020 happens. 2020 was a game changer because when I started from 2018 in November, that was a life-changing decision to leave the corporate world. And I believe at that point I answered what many of you would call God's calling into digital media ministry. So it's been almost 7+ years at home. I believe it was a step of faith that required a big sacrifice on my part, trusting in God and complete surrender. So what the world saw as a loss, I remember talking to one pastor at SID, and he put his hands on the shoulder. I mean, he actually put his hands on the waistline. He was like, Melusi, for what? We are in ministry and we know the challenges of ministry. And I said, yes, that's where I'm coming. God wants me to do this thing. And so I remember him saying, how are you going to feed my children? I said, God feeds them. I don't even know how to feed them, but God will. And so I took this bold and giant step to serve the Lord. And I can tell you it's been a very fulfilling journey, but very difficult and very sacrificial. There are days sometimes in my humanness I regret the loss of income because I know what I left. I know how powerful what I left was, but yet I left it for a greater purpose. And I believe when I stepped aside from security and privilege in the workspaces where I was, God was giving me a calling. This was not a career move. And so the vision has always been greater than me, and it continues to be greater than me. I believe God has sustained this ministry through purely sacrifice and faith and his providential grace. Sometimes I feel I could do far more with better resources. If I had more money, I had more resources, I had more partners to sponsor us. I always say this, if I had enough sponsors, I wouldn't monetize my channel. Monetization was because there's very little resources for us in Africa. And that's why I couldn't even make it to this convention, because there's not much resources available. And this is a point I'm putting on the table. I know some of you may say, how can you say that? It's a reality. The devil has made sure those ministries which are impacting the world don't have the resources. And yet today, and every day, God keeps reminding me, this is his work. It is not about me. It is about him. And I want to challenge you wherever you are sitting right now. You may be struggling, maybe, and wondering, how am I going to do it? Do it anyway. Start where you are. If you go to the mouth or the very opening place of the river Kafue, which I understand is passing right there by Riverside, go to the mouth where it starts. You will not even recognize it as this mighty Kafue river. It's so small, imperceptible, you could cross it with your eyes closed. But because Kafue is consistent in flowing with the gradient, that's the idea. Be consistent and keep going. Don't stop. At some point, it becomes a raging mighty river, even with crocodiles in it. And so my message to you today is keep going. Don't stop. And so we see ourselves as having become a platform which is a global ministry platform and reaches every corner of the universe. MelVee Broadcasting Network today stands as that powerful digital ministry platform that reaches souls across the world. We've just passed our 190,000 subscribers online. Wow. I thought you'd give a big clap right there. Yes, over 190,000. Yeah, go ahead and clap your hands. You're most welcome. Thank you so much, and God bless you. And in South Africa right now, we are in the top 10. If you look at the gospel channels within South Africa, in terms of reach and numbers, we're in the top 10. We have over 4,000 videos that are transformative content that will grow your faith. They will educate you on prophecy. Right now, as I finish this production, I'm stepping into another one for prophecy production with a brother who's sitting in Melusi, and the other one is sitting in Australia. Technology is bringing us together, and we are able to reach the world from our points of view. So from Africa to the nations, we are broadcasting the gospel across the borders. We are touching lives through digital media, and we are inspiring an awakening continent and the globe. So there is power in communication. I believe this is one of the strongest points I want to highlight about this. The gospel no longer waits for geography. Technology, if you look at what it is doing in the world, it is fulfilling the biblical prophecy. Because media ministry is not merely a convenience anymore. It is a divinely appointed tool for such a time as this. Because Matthew 24 verse 22 says, and unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. How do you shorten 24 hours? You go live. And so when you're live, people in Australia who are 9, 10, 11 hours away from us can join us right now. And the people who are in the US who are 6, 7 hours behind us can join us right now. So what am I saying? Right now, if we stream this message, we're able to reach almost 20 hours bandwidth of time zones in one go. So we are now able, through this digital platform, to shorten time. The sermon preached in Zambia can now be watched across the world, across time zones. And therefore, what am I saying? The gospel no longer needs to wait for geography. Jesus said it. The time will be shortened. And that's how you shorten time, by bringing people in different time zones into one moment. So we are getting everyone to participate at this moment because of live streaming. And therefore, let's invest in live streaming. MelVee needs partners to help us to grow our capacity to live stream. Can you imagine we struggle to get simple resources like a computer that can be connected and run 24/7 with live streaming? Imagine what that could do. Just a computer set aside. Because that's what we did during COVID. And we grew by 100%. So let me tell you the matrix. For 9 years until 2020, I think at that time we were about 50,000 subscribers, or 49 thereabout, when COVID started in 2020. And because we took old content, repurposed it, and started running our live streams with old and new content, within 1 year, we increased our subscriptions from 50,000 to 100,000. So the crisis for us was a big opportunity to really go to the ends of the world and proclaim this gospel. And so I call upon you, wherever you are, to go online. And I want to say to those who are watching MelVee, and maybe you are one of them who follows us across Africa and beyond, you are not spectators. You are part of this movement. Your voice is needed in this generation. So keep in touch with us, communicate with us. We really would love to make sure that you are part of this mission and this this broadcast. So you do that by subscribing, you do that by sharing our videos, you do that by joining us online and contributing. Because when you go onto our platform, you will find, just to highlight a few programs that you may find there, spiritual programs such as prophecy seminars, Bible studies. We cover revival meetings and messages. We have prayer and fasting broadcasts, which are live every Wednesday night and Saturday night. You will also find end time preparation series on prophecy. There is health and lifestyle content. And I'm a public health specialist, so I have a bias towards health as well. So you will find wellness teachings and lifestyle transformations. And there will be coaching for young people, for youth, for leaders. I focus on life and relationship coaching, so there is content right there, but some of it I've locked it for those who are subscribing because it's highly professional content and I just don't want to throw it out there. It has to be given to those who need it the most. So some of our content is only accessible to those who join and are willing to subscribe to our ministry and help us to raise some funds. It's a very difficult area to grow. There are not many Africans who give to ministry, but we are praying and hoping that as we continue to work, God will give us partners who can sponsor and support this ministry. So there is content we also put out purely for mission. This is media videos purely for mission. So there are testimonies. People talk about their journey with God. There are documentaries we do sometimes. We do some mission reports. We cover some events that are happening and we extract the messages and share with people. And so it's a melting pot for various topics and content that we believe is geared to bless the people. Let me talk briefly about the future that we are hoping to go to. Where are we going as MelVee, and what is our future holding for us? We've got to look ahead, and God has to show us, because the Bible says write the vision and write it on the wall and make it clear so that whoever reads it runs. So if you are to know about MelVee, what is it I want you to remember about us? I believe that God will bless us one day with a lifestyle and media center. We have written the strategic vision for this, and we are very clear what God wants us to do. This is really the next phase, and a big phase for this channel that you know as MelVee Broadcasting Network. There will be a place somewhere in Africa. We are thinking here in Zimbabwe. We are thinking, Zimbabwe is our home country. We're thinking about that. The Midlands, that's where I come from. I'm thinking God must send me back to my people in the Midlands, Kwekwe Gweru area. We want to set up a lifestyle center, which is a media broadcasting center. But at this center, because my wife and I do public health. So I feed people spiritually. I like teaching the gospel and preaching. So I am feeding the lambs of God spiritually. But my wife is an avid, culinary specialist. She loves cooking. So we also feed people physically. But in addition to that, I love training. I love creating content online. We do live streaming. We want to do mentorship for young people. We want to do digital evangelism there. And because I'm a health trained person on medical missionary work, and I'm a public health specialist as well, I would love to run a center, because this is what I was doing with the world and the secular economy. I was developing health systems and centers. So I would like to take my expertise and use it in developing that legacy project, which I believe will outlive us. This is a center where ministry, media, and health will actually meet. It's a place where I believe God will use to reach out to people. And so pray for us. And more than that, if you know someone who has got money, who is willing to help us set up this place and have it as a place where MelVee will be existing and you can visit it like you are visiting Riverside Farm Institute right now, I would love that. And by the way, let me disclose this and tell you, You must never allow lack of resources to stop you from doing the work of God. I broadcast most of our recordings from our living room. This is the space where I am right now. It's my house. It's our living room. We push things aside. We do our productions, then we put things back again. And the family cooperates when we do that. And they're the ones who are actually pushing things around and setting up. If you look at all our Sabbath School productions, they were done right here in this space. It's not a studio space. So our big push and our big plan with God helping us is to have this lifestyle and media center. We need partners. We know how much it will cost. We've done the scoping of all the services in line with the spirit of prophecy and the revelation of what God is telling us at this time. We think that this is our big move out of the cities into the countryside for the purposes of finishing the gospel. And so I want to add, as I finish this presentation, and say, we must move faster. We must get the gospel on the superhighway. If the world can spread trends in seconds, the church must spread truth faster. I believe the unreached are not unreachable. They are waiting for our signal. They are waiting. So every click, every share, every post can be a seed you are planting for the kingdom. And it's bigger than you. So what are you doing with the data you have and the internet that God has given you? What are you using with that cell phone? You want a faster, clearer picture, image, and all of that, but is it for the gospel? So I believe we must seize this moment with agency and with purpose, because we don't have the luxury of time. I don't believe the opportunity we have post-COVID, we will have it for long. COVID, if it has taught us anything, the world will be a very difficult place when it's shut down. And there's now the Sunday law that prevents us from buying and selling. This is the time we have. This is the window God has given us as Adventists to share the final warning to the world. We don't know what the next pandemic will look like. We don't know what the next cancellation is going to look like. But I believe, brothers and sisters, this is the time. The harvest is plenty. The harvest is vast. The platforms are ready. And I believe Africa must broadcast the message to the nations. If missionaries brought it on ships, we are sending it via the airwaves back to the West. And we are working with our brothers and sisters in the West and in Asia and everywhere else to finish this gospel. And so as I finish this presentation, I want to say to you, this is our hour. This is our time. This is our voice. And this is our mission, given by God himself. And we must embrace the divine voice of God that must come out of the motherland to the whole world. And with these words, I just want to say thank you very much. And may God bless you. And I pray that you may have a blessed Sabbath day as you congregate. If you have any questions for me, please send them to Brian Hall. He will be able to answer all of them. He's been to our place. He knows where we are. And let me just also say thank you so much, Brian, for your support. I'm really privileged to have worked with you. And I think the whole family is very special to us, because another hall called me to go and set up Santon Media. And the work that you're seeing happening at Santon SDA Church was a product of a phone call from Pastor Hall, who's your brother, I believe. So the whole family are very special to me. I just want to say thank you so much, Brian, and your team at OCI. I really appreciate the opportunity and the privilege. It is my greatest honor to have shared this moment with you. And my contacts, Brian will be able to share those with you. But you can also go online on our channel, and you should be able to see some of the work that we are doing there as MelVee Broadcasting Network. God bless you. Amen.
MelVee Broadcasting Network, a divine voice out of Africa. Remember to like, to subscribe, and to click the bell.